The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Wrestling to the Max, Smackdown Review.
And we are live to the W2M Network for the Wrestling to the Max Smackdown Live review for July 10th, 2018. Man, I'm getting my dates all mixed up and stuff.
Doesn't help that we're doing this the day after.
But not to mention, I haven't been feeling the greatest the last couple of days anyway. So just trying to get through these reviews in order to have something posted so that way Sean doesn't yell at us.
Yes.
That being said, I am your host. My name is Harry Broadhurst. Good afternoon, evening, whenever you're listening here. He is Brandon Biskobing. Unfortunately, the co-hostess with the mostest, Miss Liz Puglisi, is unable to be with us this week due to the fact that we are recording at a later time than scheduled. Blame me for that. We were going to do this live last night, however, I felt like poop. And decided to go to bed.
Yes.
Sometimes you just need to go to bed.
Oh, yes.
Naps are good. You know, the older I get, the more I realize that naps are my friend.
Oh, yes, quite.
But anyway, enough of my lollygagging and dodging and the show itself. What do you say we go ahead and get into this episode of SmackDown, Bryan?
Let's do it.
This SmackDown episode is a presentation of the W2M Network, available online at W2Mnet.com. In addition, you can listen to the W2M Network family of podcasts anywhere you choose to listen to your podcasts, be it iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spreaker, Podbean, CastBox, which has been really glitchy for me the last couple of days, and I don't know why. And Brandon, guess what?
Yes.
I'm hearing rumors.
I'm hearing rumors that it's coming very soon.
Glacier's coming soon?
No, Spotify is coming soon.
Man, I'm going to be really disappointed when we no longer have this bit to put
I
back.
know. It's going to be weird because now Sean said that it's actually, happening soon. He got confirmation, so now we're going to lose our bit.
Now that the confirmation that we actually are coming soon to Spotify is officially upon us, it's like, but our bit! Our beautiful bit!
Our bit is gone! No!
Standing out in the crowd, standing out towards the audience, and you're in one of those Rocky movies. Adrian! And instead, it's just the two of us standing over by the Spreaker studio. Spotify.
We need to come up with a new bit.
We'll figure out something. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Again, this is the SmackDown Live review for July 10th. Let's get started here.
Yep.
Our opening segment is Miz TV, and his special guests on this episode are Kane and Daniel Bryan, Team Hell No. I won't go through all of the specifics of these segments here because I don't want to run super long. So I will say that everything that you expect them to hit, they kind of hit here. Kane and Daniel talk about the fact that they're going to take the titles off of the Bludgeon Brothers on Sunday. Miz says that he believes in Kane and Bryan, and he had a special video package put together for them. And instead of it actually being a hype package, it's a throwback to 2014 when they were feuding over the WWE Universal title after Kane turned corporate. And they come back live, and Miz tries to address it, whereas Bryan accuses Miz of stirring the pot. Bryan goes to go after Miz. Kane talks him out of it. Kane says that, or Miz says something to Kane. I forget the exact quote that he says to Kane. Oh, he tells Daniel to keep hiding behind his broken down monster.
Mm-hmm.
Kane reaches out and Googles Miz when the Bludgeon Brothers arrive. It's a 2-on-2 brawl until Sanity arrives, turning it into a 5-on-2 beatdown. The New Day make the save, and you can smell the Teddy Long from a mile away. As our main event is going to be a 10-man Teddy Long special. It's a tag match.
Playa.
As it will be the New Day and Team Hell No taking on the Bludgeon Brothers and Sanity. What were your thoughts on the opening Miz TV segment?
Yeah, I mean, it was it was a good way to hype up the Team Hell No reunion and everything, and still kind of put in that potential tension from back when Kane was corporate and all of that, and continue this this progression towards what I would assume is going to be the inevitable Daniel versus Miz feud, which will probably happen at SummerSlam. There will probably be some sort of shenanigans, but we'll talk about predictions later, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And then once Bludgeon Brothers came out, it was like, okay, they're going to beat down on Daniel. Then once Sanity came out, I just saw the writing on the wall. I was like, okay, here we go. New Day's going to come in for the save, and we're going to get the Super Teddy Long special with the 10-man tag.
Playa. Honestly, I was a little bit surprised they didn't go a much more feasible route by having the Bludgeons assist Miz in a beatdown and then having somebody come out and make the save in order to turn it into a straight-up 6-man tag.
The only reason I feel like they didn't do that is because hold on. It is because they didn't really have anyone for Miz to, they didn't have someone who Miz is feuding with right now besides Bryan.
Yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from there, but at the same time, keeping Miz out of the ring does nothing but hurt his marquee value as well, with his reality show dropping in 2 weeks.
True. I'll give you that. It is very odd, especially considering how much they've been pushing that show, that he does not have a match at Extreme Rules, considering his show drops in a couple of weeks. But I have a feeling, is there anyone that also doesn't have a match that could be on, a Miz TV segment or something? Or them, I have a feeling Miz will be there in some way to continue the hype for Miz and Mrs.
No comment about that right now. Stay tuned until later in the show.
Okay.
Our opening contest, scheduled for one fall, is non-title action as a WrestleMania Backlash Money in the Bank rematch sees AJ Styles taking on Shinsuke Nakamura. We go 15 minutes and 55 seconds, approximately 12 of which was shown, based on the in-screen commercials. You got 12 of it in full screen, and then another 3-ish or so shown through the little box in the corner there. Styles picks up a win by disqualification. Styles picks up a win by disqualification as he's about to go for the phenomenal forearm inside of the ring after Shinsuke Kinshasa-ed in English, and then Rusev got into his face about it, and then Styles sent Nakamura back into the ring. Well, AJ goes to springboard for the phenomenal forearm, and Rusev pulls him down into his face bump onto the apron for the DQ with 16 minutes shown. This immediately leads into a 2-on-1 beatdown on AJ Styles by Rusev and Nakamura until Jeff Hardy makes the save for AJ Styles, and Teddy Long shows up.
I was hoping that she was going to say it.
Although I will say this much, Teddy's looking a lot better these days than he used to. I think it's the training bra. As we go right into another tag match.
Playa.
Hardy and Styles against Nakamura and Rusev. First, your thoughts on the Styles-Nakamura match, and then we'll get into the tag team match that followed?
I mean, the match itself wasn't bad. I mean, obviously these two can do a lot better, but, as we've seen in WWE, for whatever reason, they're not given the opportunity to go all out. But, it was definitely a means to an end type match where, these two, these two were going at it, mostly, just, I don't even know, there was really no rhyme or reason for this match to happen in the first place, but it was all setting up for the inevitable, shenanigans that resulted in the tag match. So, it was a means to an end type of match.
This takes us into our next contest, scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
As it is the previously mentioned Teddy Long special tag match.
Playa.
And I'm being told that I can't say Balls Mahoney. Sorry, I might as well get all the hits in while I can. Styles and Hardy, Team TNA, as they were dubbed by one of my friends, taking on Nakamura and Rusev. And the ending of this match sees Rusev pinning the U.S. champion Jeff Hardy with a Machka kick at 5.5 minutes shown because the match was joined in progress. Are you surprised that Hardy ate a pinfall?
Not really, because in the land of WWE and with the way they do things, for one, because Rusev is the challenger for the WWE Championship, he's kind of on a higher level, at least currently, as compared to compared to Jeff Hardy. But also on top of that, it's that whole reverse momentum theorem where him eating the pin here, and Rusev getting the win, or Jeff eating the fall and Rusev getting the fall, kind of indicates that we're probably having both champions retain in the respective title matches at Extreme Rules.
Well, we'll be making predictions a little bit later on here tonight, but I don't necessarily agree with that. We'll get to that in a bit.
Okay.
All right. Our next contest, scheduled for one fall, because apparently we're hitting it hot and heavy today.
One fall.
Sees the Lumberjill match that we were promised last week after Asuka and Ellsworth ended in a double countout. This is intergender lumberjack action. Telephone, telegraph, tell a booker that this is crap. Asuka picks up the win via submission to the Asuka lock at 3 minutes and 27 seconds. Ellsworth is basically here as a heater for Carmella. He doesn't need to be in the ring in these kind of matches. If you insist on putting Ellsworth in the ring, let him go somewhere where he can have competitive matches, such as 205 Live. He could be used in the Colin Delaney role, as we'll see a little bit later on tonight when we do our 205 Live review. Having him involved in this program really does nothing for either woman involved. Having him as a manager for Carmella helps her. Having him as in-ring talent doesn't.
Yeah, especially in WWE's mode of thinking, I've said it before, I think you said it last week too, in today's WWE, whenever you have an intergender match, that it's a foregone conclusion that the woman is going to win. So,
Girl power! Seemed appropriate.
Yeah.
Not to mention, it's taking screen time away from people that could have used it to help their own personal vendettas there. Why not have one of the Iconics in this match with Asuka on behalf of Carmella? Have
the
Carmella
only issue...
Wait.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
Have one of the Iconics in this match approached by Carmella, asking them to soften up Asuka before the pay-per-view on Sunday. They have a history of interacting with each other and working together.
That's true.
And The Iconics are all about things that help broaden their perspective. Being in-ring talent will significantly broaden their perspective much more than being one of 7 irrelevant people at ringside as a Lumberjill for this kind of a contest.
True. Yeah. I could give you that. That's actually a good point. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and give me your counter to this, because I know you were dying to do so, trying to cut me off. Go ahead.
Well, at first I was going to say they don't really have much of an interaction, but you are correct that they have had interactions in the past. That actually probably would have actually worked better. But, of course, they're trying to, even though it's really stupid on their part, for a number of reasons, they're trying to do... They're basically using Ellsworth as, he's the fodder for this whole women's revolution thing, and like them trying to push the women's division.
No, and I get that, and Ellsworth was doing a gimmick similar on the Indies with the whole intergender champion thing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, though, you can't have Ellsworth doing this with the women on the main roster without devaluing the women on the roster, whereas there are other women on your brand that could be using the screen time that Ellsworth is getting in order to help make themselves more relevant.
True.
Speaking of which, let's go ahead and put a little bow on this before we go any further into the show. A little bit later on, Carmella and Ellsworth are discussing what happened after Carmella lays out Asuka after the match with a basement super kick. And Paige informs them that Ellsworth will be in a shark cage at Extreme Rules because Mattel has action figures to sell. God damn it!
I'm okay with it because that I know we've seen it before where the person
it almost guarantees that he's getting involved.
True, but at least within storyline, at least on a kayfabe level, It works because, that should be the way to try to keep him out of the picture and make sure that, he does not interfere. We all know that it doesn't, but, purely looking at it on a kayfabe level, it's the right call.
Yeah, you would think so until you actually get to the execution and you realize that this has never worked
Oh,
ever.
yes. Oh, no, I completely agree with you.
Anyway, Team Hell No and the New Day are conversating backstage in order to try to figure out the teamwork that they're going to have here. Kane suggests setting the opponents on fire and sending them to hell. Bryan and Kane debate the logistics of this. Big E breaks it up and then gives everybody a pep talk, leading to Kane quoting NSYNC at the end of the promo. Of course he did.
Well, because they had to, tie up some loose ends from him talking about NSYNC earlier on.
Oh, no, I'm not disagreeing with Kane quoting NSYNC. As a matter of fact, I actually thought it was kind of funny.
It was kind of funny.
That being said, though, if you're trying to build Kane and Bryan as a serious threat to the Bludgeon Brothers, I don't think that having Kane, monster, super, 7-foot-tall badass quoting NSYNC is the way to go.
Oh, come on. Do you really expect anything less from Vincent Kennedy McMahon? I mean, I've talked about it ad nauseum on the show, and even more so over on NXT, but on the main roster, all the tag team division is ever used for is comedy. So, as soon as you enter the tag division, you are automatically setting yourself up for comedy.
What the Okay, there we go. Microphone back on. My microphone muted itself, and I don't know why. Okay, anyway. Continuing on with SmackDown, our next contest, scheduled for one fall, is the official in-ring debut against actual competition, of Andrade Cien Almas as he takes on Sin Cara. Now, I know you've been really hesitant with Andrade Cien Almas, but even you have to admit, this is a pretty good little match for the 6 minutes that it aired.
I barely watched it.
Then you set yourself up to fail, because frankly, this was actually pretty good.
Oh, I don't doubt that, the in-ring competition was decent because they're both, good, pure wrestlers, but, I just have no interest.
Well, that's unfortunate because the more and more I see of Andrade, the more and more I see that they might have that potential Mexican superstar that they're looking for. Andrade could be what they wanted Del Rio to be. I'll put it that way.
I'm sure he could be, but, I just, I don't know. The
fact that he has eye candy not named Ricardo Rodriguez helps. Although I will say, even now, anytime I see him on screen, every part of me wants to go, Alberto Del Rio. Okay, I'm done. A backstage promo for Sanity is interrupted by the Bludgeon Brothers, who promise to bludgeon everybody, perhaps Sanity included. They don't exactly get along, but they don't not get along, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What's the old phrase, Bisco? The enemy of my enemy is my friend?
Pretty much, yeah.
And that sets us to our main event, a 10-man tag team match scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
Playa. As the New Day and Team Hell No take on Sanity and the Bludgeon Brothers. We end up seeing Team Hell No pick up the win in this contest, 16 minutes and 40 seconds, about 13 of which aired based on the commercial breaks that were taken during the course of the match. And Daniel Bryan pins Eric Young as Sanity eats a second pinfall loss in their time on the main roster, all 4 weeks of it, with the knee plus. We have two different tag team
playa
matches coming out of this set of Extreme Rules here. So not really surprised that they combined it all into one big schmoz here, but I was a little bit surprised to see that we have a clean and decisive pinfall in this contest here. I kind of expected this to get crazy with the tables match on Sunday and having some kind of a disqualification for this. Were you surprised that we got not only a clean finish in this match, but Sanity eating yet another decision so early into their main?
Yeah, I definitely am. But, well, I am, but I'm not at the same time, because this is what I've been forewarning you for months now about. Sanity, I hate to say it, and Tori even mentioned it in terms of the way their promo was in the back before they were interrupted by the Bludgeon Brothers. And it's kind of ironic that they were teaming with the Bludgeon Brothers in this match. But I hate to say it, but I feel like Sanity is basically going to be treated like Wyatt Family 2.0, where in the interim, during feuds, they're going to do all this fear factor stuff and all of that. And then when it comes down to business, they're going to fail every time. And slowly but surely, even though the fans are going to be behind them, that mystique and that that fear factor and their reputation is just going to slowly dwindle and die.
Okay, so we kind of talk about things other than just SmackDown on the show. With Nikki Cross on the SmackDown house show on Monday night, do you think that they're kind of waiting and setting the stage for Nikki to join Sanity on the main roster now?
I would certainly hope.
Because it would appear that Nikki's commitments with NXT might be finished after her match with Shayna Baszler that she had at the most recent TakeOver special.
Yeah, well, that was what we were thinking as well, which, I mean, especially with how they held them back already, I would have preferred if she had debuted with the rest of Sanity instead of them delaying it. I'm hoping that she does join Sanity as well, but especially with how WWE and Vince is known for not exactly using women within factions very well, I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see. would I like to see it in an ideal world where WWE, the main roster, was actually run competently? Yes. But I'm very fearful if it does happen. Because like I said already, Sanity, I could be wrong. I mean, I was wary and worried about Revival, and they seem to be picking up the pace now. But I'm very worried that Sanity's going to become Wyatt Family 2.0. And I don't think Nikki will be put in a very good light if she's a part of Sanity.
Must not give away prediction.
Yes.
Daniel Bryan sets off Kane's pyro to end the show. All right, I'll admit that got me to chuckle.
And Kane's reaction was great.
That was Bryan summoning a portal that Kane had talked about in the earlier segment backstage, that actually got me to chuckle for me. That was a nice way to play off the bit from earlier.
Yeah, and I'm hoping, and this is probably just a pipe dream of mine, I'm hoping this is kind of them breaking the fourth wall and an indication of them actually using those billions of dollars for something the fans have wanted since 2016.
I'm over pyro. It doesn't make that big of a difference to me.
For some guys it doesn't, but for others, Kane's entrances just fall flat now.
Well, don't get me wrong. Like, the descending cascading sparklers for Bobby Roode's entrance would be awesome, especially once he turns heel.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to how Christian used to get him for his at last year on Your Own.
Mm-hmm.
But there aren't a whole lot of people that rely on pyro these days for their entrances here. I don't think
Becky's entrance would be...
Becky's wasn't pyro, though. Becky's was steam.
No, I know this, but it falls under the same category because they cut that at the same time as they cut the pyro.
And that officially brings us to the end of this week's episode of Smackdown Live for Tuesday. It's going to be weird not saying that anymore when Smackdown Live goes back to Friday.
Yeah, it is.
In fairness, I'm not going to be the one having to say it, most likely.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I'm going to state for the record that if SmackDown Live happens before Christine comes up to town full time, I will be spending my weekends with my girlfriend the way that I always have. SmackDown becomes much less of a priority. It is what it is, people. Not apologizing. Anywho, that officially wraps us up, Brandon. Scale of 1 to 10.
I'll give this a 6.5. The matches were decent. Some funny moments, the whole thing with Bryan and Kane and everything. And Big E's promo and the opening segment was decent, but other than that, it was a very methodical and very predictable go-home show for Extreme Rules.
See, but the difference between predictable and functional, though, and I think this week's go-home was functional, because you got all of your major programs on television here. You got the Asuka Carmel match on television. You got the New Day Sanity match announced, and then you got added fuel to the fire for that. You got the Bludgeon Brothers and Team Hell No. You got AJ Styles and Rusev. You got Shinsuke Nakamura and Jeff Hardy. You got all of that stuff on television here, and you were able to devote an ample amount of television time to each of those things there. I'm going 7.5. And that's with me taking off a full point because of the Ellsworth Asuka match. I mean, the match itself was freaking garbage, but the point of the segment was to have Carmella get yet another opportunity to stand tall, and she did.
Mm-hmm.
One word review, Brandon.
Well,
don't take my word.
What?
Don't take my word.
No, I'm not. Can I use a hyphenated word?
You can use hyphenated words. Hyphenated words are okay.
Tag team or tag match? Playa?
I feel like just saying playa would have been enough there.
Yeah, playa works. Yeah, playa works.
The word that I'm going to go with is the one that I just used, functional.
Mm-hmm.
It did what it needed to do in order to get us to Extreme Rules on Sunday and put a little bit of added hype behind all of the matches that you're going to get from the Blue brand on Sunday. SmackDown is clearly in a much better place than Raw is right now.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any denying.
It helps that their main champion is actually there and not up in limbo.
He's not too busy trying to knock Daniel Cormier on his ass.
Yes, precisely.
Just want to state for the record that UFC is for people that can't spell wrestling. Anyway. So with our SmackDown review now officially behind us, we move into our predictions portion of the broadcast as we make our predictions for this Sunday's Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Once again, a friendly reminder to all of our SmackDown listening audience, I will have live thoughts from Extreme Rules to open up next week's Tuesday night SmackDown Live review.
Yeah, have fun over there, by the way.
I'm hoping to.
Is there a possibility that we could see you, or are you up top?
I'm in the upper bowl, but I'm like directly above the ring in the upper bowl. I'm not sure if I'm on the hard cam side or not. I didn't actually take the look.
Well, what side will the stage be on for you?
The stage will be to my right.
Then you will be on the hard cam side.
Which means that I'm probably not going to be visible on television. It's okay. I was thinking about bringing a sign that said, DeMarco made me bring this sign anyway. So that's funny if you know what my other show is. Anyway.
You should put create like a Wrestling to the Max / Chairshot Network sign.
Wrestling to the chair shot. Anyway, let's get into our Extreme Rules predictions here. You and Liz did Monday Night Raw matches last night on the Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw review. It's Wednesday for frame of reference for when we're recording this, in case people are wondering. That's why I said last night, because usually we do these on Tuesdays, and they did that on Monday, and you get it. Anyways, so my predictions real quick, and then if you want to, you can remind everybody of your predictions for these matches here. If you want Liz's picks, then by all means feel encouraged to go listen to the Monday Night Raw review, available on many of these same places that you would be happening to listen to this SmackDown Live review on. All right, Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax.
Oh, do you want me to give mine first?
Run yours down real quick.
Okay, Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. I have Alexa winning.
I have Alexa retaining as well. If they want the more in-depth response for Raw, go listen to last night's review for yours.
Yes.
I have Alexa Bliss retaining as well, and then her getting into a kerfluffle with Rousey at ringside afterwards, which sets up the Alexa Ronda match at SummerSlam for the Raw title. The Deleters of Worlds defend the tag team titles against the B-Team.
Deleters of Worlds.
Deleters of Worlds retain as well. I think that the key segment in regards to the Deleters of Worlds retaining is the fact that they showed the Revival backstage watching their match on Monday Night Raw. It tells me that they're positioning the Revival for a run against the tag team champions. And realistically speaking here, Axel and Dallas are still kind of heels-ish, sort of, whereas Hardy and Wyatt are bona fide baby faces. Iron Man match for the Intercontinental title is Dolph Ziggler with the Psycho Wookiee. Drew McIntyre defends against Seth Rollins. And I stand by what Liz said. If you make a Psycho Wookiee t-shirt, I will buy it. Now, my question to that would be, does Tommaso Ciampa get copyrights on that? Psycho Wookiee, run away. I'm actually taking this match a step further than you guys did last night, Brandon.
Okay.
I know you picked Dolph to retain last night.
Yes.
I actually listened to your guys' prediction, so I would have Liz's for when we did the rundown here if I needed them. I need a final score.
Ooh.
while he's stalled for an answer, Liz's final score prediction is 3-2 Ziggler.
Okay. What's yours?
3-2 Ziggler.
Okay, I'm gonna go slightly lower, and I'll say 2-1 Ziggler.
I think that McIntyre plays the deciding role in the final fall.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Because they seem to be setting McIntyre up for big things, especially with the way that he got the relatively clean-ish pinfall on Rollins on Monday night.
And then Rollins and McIntyre feud for some sort of eventual Universal title opportunity, or at least position themselves into that picture.
There's also the possibility of this being used as a way to bring back Dean Ambrose, as you guys discussed yesterday as well.
Yes. But I don't think he's ready yet. I think I said that last night.
He's still in rehab. I don't know the specifics of it, but I know he's still working on his rehab.
Mm-hmm.
The next Raw match that I have is Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley. I fully expect some kind of stipulation to be added to this match. No disqualification.
I would hope so, but
anywhere fight. Just based on the way that they did the opening segment for Raw last night with these two beating the snuffleupagus out of each other with the separation brawl. I think Bobby Lashley picks up the win here, actually. I think Lashley needs this win much more than Roman does in order to help establish himself as a top person on Monday Night Raw. Your prediction or Liz's prediction of Lesnar showing up would not surprise me, especially to send some kind of example going into the SummerSlam pay-per-view. And then you could just as easily do Lesnar and Lashley at SummerSlam with Braun Strowman cashing in there, rather than doing Lesnar and Reigns in another rematch that fans aren't going to care about between those two.
I believe I said Reigns, correct?
I believe you did as well. Liz said no contest because of Bork. That's Bork Laser, for those of you wondering. It's an old parody off of the fact that Microsoft Word would not accept Brock Lesnar as words. That's 100% accurate, actually. That's where Bork Laser comes from.
Huh.
Constable Corbin takes on Finn Balor. Balor wins this match because Corbin has the management gimmick to fall back on to get his heat back. Balor needs this win in order to be established as anything more than a lower mid-carder.
Yeah, definitely.
Liz picked Balor, I think, by disqualification. And I think you had Balor by DQ as well.
Yeah, I think I did actually have Balor by DQ.
You had Corbin picking up a chair and whacking him with it.
Yep.
Now, here's my thought. Since Corbin is office, it's Corbin's corporate, why wouldn't Corbin just whack him with the chair and then tell the referee, oh, by the way, this match is no DQ?
That would be funny to see, like, basically have Corbin pull, like, a Vince from back in, 90... it was either 98 or 99 when Foley was facing Stone Cold, and Vince kept on changing the stipulations.
Over the Edge, 1998.
Yeah, there we go.
I watch too much wrestling to be able to pull that off the top of my head. Anyway, and then the final Monday Night Raw match on the show is the steel cage match between Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens. This match is the perfect stipulation for Strowman not to have to eat a pinfall, but to take a loss. Kevin Owens wins.
I forget. I think I had Braun winning, but I think I said last night that I would not at all be surprised if KO pulled off a sneaky win like that. Or, you know what I said? Your
suggestion of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre finish would work perfectly.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
But the issue with that is they just did something like that at the Greatest Royal Rumble with the cage exploding.
True, but this would be different in that it wouldn't have any controversy. It would be just Braun throwing KO into the chain link and it, falling, caving in on itself, and KO winning as a result.
It's entirely possible that could happen, but I think Kevin wins. I don't know how Kevin wins. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody comes back and costs Strowman this match. I'm not sure who that person would be, but I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Strowman's next.
The only person I could even conceive coming back to do that, there's no way he's going to be cleared by now. The only person I could think of coming to help KO is Sammy.
Well, no, it's not going to be Sammy. Although that would actually make sense with the two of them, and then Braun could kill Sammy for a couple of months because Sammy puts everybody over. But Sammy's out for like 6 months because of his rotator cuff, so that's not likely.
Exactly.
That takes us over to the blue side of things here as we get to our SmackDown Live predictions. We'll start with the non-title matches, and that takes us to the tables match on the pre-show as Sanity takes on the New Day. So, I was saying earlier I can't give away my prediction. I can't give away my prediction here. Because you came very close to saying it. Nikki Cross helps Sanity win this match.
I'd be perfectly fine with that. I'll agree with you on that, actually. I definitely want to say that Sanity's going to win this match and because they need it. And yeah, that's the best way to bring in Nikki Cross. And not to mention... And not to mention being able to hear her individual entrance coming out on at a bigger stage.
Liz also picks Sanity in this match. She does not specify who. I say Kofi eats the table.
Probably either Kofi or Xavier.
Although, given the fact that he's such a big boy, seeing Killian Dane hit the Great Divide on Big E through a table would be pretty dope. All right, the rest of the matches on this show for SmackDown are all title matches. Because, of course they are. Their champions show up.
Yep.
Aw, too soon, Raw. Anyway. We'll start with the women's title because this is the match that I honestly care the least about. Asuka gets another shot at Carmella with Ellsworth in a shark cage. Brandon?
I'm gonna hate myself for saying it because it just pains me that that my dire prediction is still coming true and you still don't believe me. But yeah, especially with what you said where putting someone in a shark cage never turns out the way you think it should. Carmella figures out some stupid way of retaining, and Asuka moves on to go back into the dumpster fire that is the women's mid card on SmackDown. And yeah, Kyrie, Io, Kyrie, you're screwed. Io, if you haven't fully signed yet, go the hell back now.
Except for the fact that she's making a crap ton more in the WWE than she probably would in Stardom. Sure, let's go with that.
Gotta have some respect for yourself.
Gotta make the money while you can, too. Just saying. Liz is picking Asuka to win, but not necessarily the title. That's a ton of DQ finishes that she's calling for, or no contest finishes she's calling for. I think Asuka gets the belt on Sunday.
Wow. Even after what you said earlier?
I think Ellsworth finds a way to escape the cage. They eventually get him down. It distracts Carmella, but not Asuka. And Asuka proceeds to kick both of their heads off.
I'd be cool with that.
And then we can set up for Asuka Becky Lynch or Asuka Charlotte at SummerSlam.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Or even better, you could do ABC and have Asuka versus Becky versus Charlotte at SummerSlam.
Well, you'd have to figure out a way to how Carmella doesn't get her rematch.
Okay, so then maybe Asuka versus Becky versus Carmella.
Yeah, there's your ABC match.
There needs to be someone on SmackDown with it. Never mind, not going to make the joke. Too easy, moving on. U.S. title match sees Jeff Hardy defend against Shinsuke Nakamura. Liz is picking Jeffrey Hardy to retain.
While I want to say Shinsuke wins, I've said it too many times and been proven wrong. And with Hardy eating the pin this past Tuesday, I have to go with Hardy retaining.
Shinsuke wins the U.S. title after hitting Jeff low and hitting him with the Kinshasa. It wasn't Shinsuke that got the pinfall in the tag match. It was Rusev.
Oh, no, I know this, but I still think that...
Let me finish! Okay. It wasn't Shinsuke that got the pinfall in the match. It was Rusev. Therefore, Shinsuke's momentum is still at the same point it was. Shinsuke needs this win. Jeff could be used on a higher spot on SmackDown because they don't have a ton of main event level talent on SmackDown. Jeff moving to the main event on SmackDown while Shinsuke carries the U.S. title division is the way to go, in my opinion.
Oh, I completely agree. I completely agree with that, but I don't have any faith in them anymore.
Plus, I could totally see Shinsuke winning the U.S. title and then Samoa Joe choking a bitch out.
Who we haven't seen in what, like a month?
Well, he was supposed to wrestle Ty Dillinger on tonight's SmackDown, but the match got canceled apparently.
Yeah.
Or last night's SmackDown.
Yeah,
Sorry, it's Wednesday.
Yes.
Anywho, tag team titles are on the line as Team Hell No challenges the Bludgeon Brothers. Liz is picking Team Hell No to win the titles. I am not. Bludgeon Brothers retain when Miz gets involved, tripping up Daniel, leading to a pinfall victory for the Bludgeon Brothers and a Daniel Bryan Miz match at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with you on that, especially considering we don't know distinctly what's going on with Bryan with his contract. So they're going to want to get through that Miz-Bryan match before Bryan potentially leaves. So unless...
go ahead, I'm sorry.
So unless he signs a longer-term deal before Sunday, I have a feeling that that's where they're going with this as well.
The big thing for Bryan and Miz too is the fact that if you're only going to get one match out of Miz and Bryan, you're going to want to do it at the biggest opportunity you can in order to give Miz the biggest stage you can for him to get that win.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I'm saying.
If Bryan's leaving, then they're not going to put him over Miz.
No.
Our main event is our alleged main event. We're not sure if it actually will be the main event or not, but our main event is the only heavyweight title match on the card as Rusev challenges AJ Styles for the SmackDown Heavyweight Championship. Brandon, do you know what day that match is happening on?
AJ Styles Day?
He's Brandon, I'm Harry. Thanks for listening. Play along with the bit.
It's Rusev Day, yes.
Yeah, but it's not going to matter because AJ Styles retains.
Nope, yep. I do think
Liz has Aiden English costing Rusev the match. Not sure if she means intentionally or accidentally. She doesn't specify, just that Aiden costs Rusev the match.
I'm going to agree with Liz, but I will clarify it, and I will have it be where he will unintentionally cost him, but it's going to be to the point where Rusev is fed up and he attacks Aiden afterwards, thus completing his official face turn.
Well, I mean, technically he does have a pinfall win over the U.S. champion now, too. So if he loses here, he can always just go face the U.S. champion like Shinsuke did. It's like you get AJ at the top of the card, and then you're filtered down to the U.S. champion right afterwards.
Yep, pretty much.
That officially wraps up our predictions, Brandon. Overall, what are your expectations for Sunday?
My expectations are that there are going to be some decent matches. At least there really isn't, especially considering this is a stipulation pay-per-view, there really isn't any match that really jumps out at me as must-see. There's only one Extreme Rules match, which I think the only thing really extreme we're going to get in it is the fact that you're going to have the ability of an interference from Rousey. Honestly, the most intriguing match for me, because it can go in so many different ways, and you can do a lot with it, especially with the two of them, is that steel cage match between Strowman and KO.
I don't, how do I put this? Like, I'm guaranteeing I'm going to have a much better time watching this than people at home are probably going to have watching it.
Oh, yeah, because you'll have an experience around it. This is going to be...
I'll have the live in-arena experience.
Yes.
That being said, I'm planning on watching the show on the network when I get home as well in order to see how it translated live compared to what I got to see in the arena.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
my expectations for this pay-per-view are probably right around where they were from Money in the Bank, and Money in the Bank turned into a pretty decent show.
The thing about Money in the Bank, though, is that you know that something big's gonna happen because it's a big stipulation.
I don't know. Like, I could totally see having matches that stick out towards the end of the year because there's a lot of potential for good matches here. But I could also see the booking coming into play and affecting this card as badly as it did at Money in the Bank as well, too.
Mm-hmm. I think the big question, and especially with how both of them have been booked lately, I kind of doubt that they will be. But and I want a full detailed report on this if this does in fact end up being the main event. If Roman Bobby is the main event, they're gonna have problems at the end.
If Roman and Bobby is the main event, I won't be able to give you a detailed report on it because I'll be too busy leaving.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, tell me how many people left, like, as soon as it started.
We'll see what happens come Sunday. It should be a good show, in my opinion, though. Maybe not necessarily a great pay-per-view, but it should be a good pay-per-view. And for as questionable as the TV was going into Money in the Bank delivered. Plus, WrestleMania was a pretty good pay-per-view this year as well.
With some questionable decisions.
Backlash was god-awful.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. That show sucked, with the exception of the opening contest between Rollins and Miz. But there's still potential to come out of the show talking about this at the end of the year as one of the better pay-per-views of the year, and I'm personally looking forward to it. We'll talk more about it next week here when I'm rejoined once again by the co-hostess with the most dismissed, Liz Puglisi and Brandon Biskobing. For I'm Harry Broadhurst, and this has been the Wrestling to the Max Smackdown Live Review for July 10th, 2018. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you next Tuesday. I'll have live thoughts, and I guess I can take your questions about the show as well on the air if you want to, here on the W2M Network. Thanks for listening, everybody. Talk to you next week.